us love to play with a ball, right? If we don't find a partner to play, then we start playing the game by hitting the ball to the wall. Have you observed that? Ball comes back to us with the same force that it hits the wall. In the same way, whatever work we do, either good or bad, reflects back with the same effect. The story that I am going to narrate now is an example of the above concept. Once upon a time, there lived a mighty king. He was very kind hearted and generous. He empathized with the poor people and was merciful. Whenever people approached him with their problems, he made them happy by giving gold, money, diamonds, and the things that would satisfy their needs. He never wanted his people to suffer. One day, the king went round his kingdom in his chariot to know about the welfare of his people. In the same kingdom, there lived a poor man who desperately wanted to meet the king and tell the king about his miseries. But unfortunately, he didn't get a chance to meet him. Coincidentally, it so happened that when the king was on his rounds on the streets, this poor man was begging on the same street. Suddenly, the poor man saw the king in the chariot. On seeing the king, he was so excited that he ran towards the chariot without thinking about the consequences. In a hurry to meet the king, he didn't bother to accept the money from the woman where he was begging. He reverently greeted the king and said, "Your Majesty, I heard a lot about your kindness, generosity, and love for your subjects. Needless to say that in your reign, everyone in the kingdom is happy. People praise you and treat rather look up to you as their God. Since many days, I was eagerly waiting to meet you. Suddenly, seeing you here, I couldn't believe my eyes, and I ran towards you. Please do forgive me for stopping you here on the road." The king, who was moved by these words, stopped the chariot and asked the poor man who he was. The poor man replied, "Your Majesty, blessed are the people in your kingdom who are indeed very lucky and happy to have you as their king. I am the only one who lives in extreme poverty and am unable to meet my ends. Wherever I go, my poverty follows me like my shadow. Since 2 days, I have been starving as I couldn't get anything to eat. Kindly have mercy on me and solve my problem." Listening to the poor man, king asked him, "Do you have anything to give to your king?" The poor man was shocked by the king's words and said, "Maharaj, except these rice grains, I don't have anything to offer you." The poor man thought, what would he eat if he gave those rice grains to the king? So he carefully counted the rice grains and gave 5 grains to the king. The king smiled at the poor man and left the place without giving anything to him. The poor man was disappointed. He felt sad and in his heart cursed the king. What sort of a king he was! Instead of pitying the poor man and giving him something, he expects gifts from the poor. As usual, he moved on begging on the streets. He returned home in the evening. Once he reached home, he noticed a rice bag in front of the door. He was surprised and took that bag into the house, praising the unknown donor. He opened the bag and took some rice into his hands. He was surprised to find one gold coin in it. Unable to believe his eyes, he curiously poured the rice on the floor and searched it thoroughly. He found 5 gold coins in all. Again he counted the coins. number was the same. Then he understood that the king had sent this rice bag with 5 gold coins in return to the 5 rice grains he had given. He realized his mistake and blamed himself for being a miser. So, dear children, remember we can't expect others to help us when we are not ready to help them. If we hesitate to give anything to others, then they also hesitate to give us when we are in need. We should always be ready to help our friends in need. Then only they also will support us in our difficult times.